Hello, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, males and females. I would like to welcome you all to the Alex Bloodfire stream here on YouTube today. This evening, we're discussing gender ideology, its effects on our society, our women, our children, and it's an effect on everybody, in fact. And I'm going to run through my GETTR profile, giving you all the latest stories from the last few days. And boy, have there been quite a lot of stories. Please feel free to join in the comments, ask questions, and generally join in. I'm quite prepared to answer questions. In fact, it'll make the show more exciting if you do ask questions, if you do join in, and I will try to answer everyone. There is still another opportunity to grab a free copy of my book, Brock Steele Sphere. Brock Steele Sphere. Simply email your name and address on the email link below in the description by tonight. And at midnight, the competition closes, and I'll put everyone's name in a hat and draw out 5 winners. So that's Brock Steele. I'll give you a read of what Brock Steele is. It says Brock Steele knows his name and very little else. After a vicious attack in mysterious circumstances, Brock's memory has abandoned him. He has no idea why he's been hounded by a mysterious man with a gun, or why bad things keep happening to the people around him and the people he loves. And why are strange voices talking to him from the walls of his flat? When he's forced to go on the run to save his life, he has to decide who to trust, and making a mistake could be fatal. Can Brock find out who he is, why he's been haunted, and stay alive in the bargain? If you want a free copy of this, just pop your name and address in an email below. I'll put your name in a hat and you might be walking away. Not many people have entered the competition, so please, pop your name and address, and I can send you a free copy, and I will send it to anywhere in the world. Okay, so it's been an excellent week for women. That's the adult human female variety. All the hard work campaigning against gender nonsense is starting to turn into progress. So the swimming body FINA has taken a brave stand against trans ideology and introduced a clear set of rules stating that trans women, that's biologically born males, should not be competing in female swimming competitions, at least if they've gone through a male puberty. That's something that we may or may not need to fight in the future. I think we will need to fight in the future that biological boys who are transitioning before male puberty may be included in this, which I'm quite disappointed about, really. It should be female sports should be for adult human females only. And then Sebastian Coe backs the FINA ruling, and track and field could be next. I really do hope so. And Rugby League have followed FINA's decision and bans trans women, that's biologically born males, from the Rugby League. Other sports are expected to follow suit. I do hope so, but I think we will be seeing more and more of that. So that's really good. But the fight over gender nonsense is far from over. We mustn't get complacent. More people and more support from people is needed to curb gender nonsense. So please speak out, support the people that are speaking out, and take these daft pronouns out your bios and email signatures, please. It's really you're not doing yourselves any favors by putting pronouns in your bios and signatures, except pandering to a gender ideology that a lot of us, people like me, want to get stopped. So please take those pronouns out of your bios. Right, okay. So even though some celebrity sports personalities, politicians and doctors are speaking out, it's still not enough to curb the idiots that brought us gender ideology. We do need more. We do need more people of power to speak out, more people in government to speak out. We need more celebrities. We need more people on the ground like me speaking out. So why don't you make yourself a YouTube channel, and start speaking out? It really would help. So there we go. So I'm just going to give you a little reminder, if you've just joined us, there is still another opportunity to grab a free copy of my book, Brock Steele Sphere. Simply email your address on the email below in the description. And tonight at midnight, the competition will close. And I'll put everybody's name in a hat and draw out 5 winners. I will deliver or send or post to anywhere in the world. So it doesn't matter where you live, I will send you a copy. But bearing in mind that the book is in English only at this present time. Um, so it's running up to 6 months since Twitter deplatformed me by locking my account, to which I've done absolutely nothing wrong. So why not bring the conversation to GETTR, where you can join me on Alex Bloodfire to discuss gender ideology, Twitter and everything else. Let me start that again. Twitter and everything else you're not allowed to say on the Twitter platform. That's absolutely not how I wanted to say it, but it's how it came out. But bearing in mind that GETTR is now the fastest growing social media platform ever since the internet began. So this is just the fastest growing platform. So please, join me on GETTR. It's time you made yourself a profile on GETTR. There's going to be more and more of us on. So, you know, then you're allowed to be yourself, which is exactly what I was trying to say. As you know, Twitter regularly silences women by locking them out, shadow banning them, or suspending their accounts permanently for simply discussing women's rights. I'm coming across many accounts on GETTR, including celebrities, sports personalities, journalists, USA government officials, influencers, rights activists, women's rights activists, detransitioners, LGBT people, intersex, and thousands of other people deplatformed from Twitter for doing probably absolutely nothing. So GETTR is becoming a real big platform. There's millions on it now. So get over there, join the celebrities, join me at Alex Bloodfire. Let's get the conversation over to GETTR. And yeah, and that's in fact, Twitter is now deplatforming gay and lesbian people now. And there are quite a lot of gay men and lesbian people on GETTR speaking out saying that they've been deplatformed. So they are really deplatforming everybody. So it's time to stick your fingers up at Twitter and let's get on GETTR, or just make yourself a profile on GETTR and we can bring the conversation over there, which is great. Only recently, J.K. Rowling has jumped into a freedom of speech war on Twitter after the platform removed a harrowing account of a man suing the NHS over irreversible gender surgery. This is going to be an historic case, and I'm going to give you more details about that later on. But I think most of you will probably already know what I'm talking about. So isn't it time you join GETTR, the fastest growing social media platform, and let's bring the conversation bring the conversation over and let Twitter sink. Okay, as you know, my handle is Alex Bloodfire on the GETTR.com platform. So please support me, follow my profile, and join me in speaking freedom of speech. Don't let Twitter quash your freedom of speech. There you go. Let me just check. Something right. Hello, Amy. So, hello, Alex, and all. Sorry, was fetching my cheese sandwich from the fridge. That's no problem at all, Amy. I'm so glad you're here. Really do appreciate you watching me on the channel. So I really appreciate you being here, and thank you. And it don't matter about you being late. Don't worry about that. You don't need to apologise. It's absolutely fine. I've got my Coke that I managed to get out the fridge. But unfortunately, my brand new printer that arrived yesterday has packed up, so I wasn't able to print anything out to say. So it's all on the still on the document. So I'm having to go between both these things, which is quite difficult, really. But of course, I don't stage it, as you know. I can talk freely. But there we go. So I'll just give everybody another reminder, because this is the last day to grab the opportunity to grab a free copy of my book, Brock Steele Sphere. Simply email your name and address on the email below. It's in the description of this particularly YouTube thingy, whatever you call it. Okay. The competition is going to end at midnight, where the competition will close. And at midnight, I'm going to put everybody's name in a hat and draw out 5 winners. There's not a lot of people applied. So if you do want a copy, if you want a free copy, all you need to do, just email your name and address to the email below. Get it in there, and you might end up with a copy. I'll email anywhere to the world, so it doesn't matter where you are. That's that. Right. So I'll just read this out from Amy now. I've just come over back to YouTube, so I'm going to and fro because I haven't got all my notes printed, as you know. So you said I did join GETTR later, deactivated later, then tried to reopen but could not. Yeah, I think I do remember you telling me this actually. But it's fine. You don't have to be on there, Amy. I mean, you're on Twitter, you're fighting it on Twitter, and that's fine. I mean, it just be good. I mean, there's massive potential on GETTR, and there's a lot of conversations happening. So if you want to ever come back over to GETTR, you're more than welcome. You know, you can do that. It's a shame that really when you deactivate your account, that, I mean, somebody else has told me that when you deactivate your account, you can't actually get back on GETTR, and you've got to do it, you know, on another one. So, oh well, never mind. I mean, that's maybe something that they need to sort out. Okay, so I'm going to move on, and it says here, I'm basically saying that we have another feminist this time in Brazil who faces up to 25 years in prison after calling a trans politician a man. I find this absolutely appalling, and it's like I keep saying to women every time I'm out there speaking to women, out in the streets, out in everywhere I go, on all my platforms, on every single platform I'm on. You know, I'm on Gab, I'm on Parler, I'm on Facebook, LinkedIn. I'm on so many platforms. I keep saying to women, you know, if you don't fight now, and men and gay people, and you know, everybody, I'm saying to everybody, if you do not fight now, you really are going to lose your rights. This isn't the first feminist who's at risk of going to prison for calling a biologically born male a man. You know, this comes after feminist in Norway, Christina Ellingsen, of the feminist organization Women's Declaration International, the WDI. She's under police investigation after saying biological men cannot be lesbians. And she's facing up to three years in prison. I mean, these are things that are actually real. I mean, since when has a biologically born male been able to be a lesbian? They're just clearly not lesbians, and I don't believe they are, because they can't be. It's impossible. You know, if you want to be a male lesbian, well, don't expect me to go along with it. You know, lesbians are adult human females. That's it. You know, if you want me to believe that males can be lesbians, please send me the proof. And so far, nobody's ever been able to do that, because I don't. Well, there is no proof. That's the issue. Christina also questioned the legitimacy of FRI's advisor Christine Gentoff. So it was Christine Gentoff who's identifying as a lesbian, despite being born a biological male, and she's questioned the legitimacy of this, and she's now facing up to 3 years in prison. I mean, this is crazy, and we all know it's a load of bull. You know what I mean? It's absolutely crap. So again, I am really asking people to wake up in the plight of women, to wake up to the plight of women, should I say, the plight of our children, and the plight of us all, because of this gender ideology. Soon we'll all be at risk of going to prison simply for just speaking out against this gender nonsense which is plaguing our society. And this is how silly our world has gotten. Really, it's really worrying. I worry for the future, because if people don't speak out, we are going to be in a gender nonsense where, you know, we're really going to have legal problems. We're really going to have problems, and we don't really want this gender nonsense to take over our society, and at the moment it is. So please speak out. So I'm asking everyone to speak out, support the people who are speaking out, and let's all fight gender ideology before it fights us. And I really mean that. I really mean, you know, wow, that was quick. I can't believe how quick I went down there. Yeah, so fight gender ideology. If you don't fight it now, if you don't fight gender ideology, I'm afraid that gender ideology will be with us permanently, and then we won't be able to fight it. That's how bad it really is. And it really is bad. I mean, we've got feminists being arrested. We've got feminists, you know, being harassed by police. We've got feminists who are have been put in prison. We've got feminists being silenced, deplatformed, and we've also got males like me that have been deplatformed. I mean, I've been deplatformed on Twitter, like I said earlier, for simply doing nothing. You know, all I do is question, and you know, that's all I did is question gender ideology, and I'm now deplatformed from Twitter, along with many people that are all taking refuge on GETTR. So, you know, please speak out. I'm begging you to speak out, because if you don't now, you will regret it later on, I can assure you. Okay, I'm going to go over to my GETTR account now, because I mean, that's 15 minutes. I was expecting all that to last for half an hour actually, but it's only lasted 15 minutes. But I would have had more, and it would have been better if I could have read it out from, from paper. I mean, I don't mean print it out and waste paper, but I just would have been comfortable with it with paper actually. It just would have been easier, but never mind. So I'm going to go a little bit more on the heartache and anguish of a young man who's had his sexual organs removed in what is to be the first UK medical negligence case over the NHS transgender care here in the United Kingdom. He actually said that the minute I'm quoting him. So he said, "The minute I woke up from surgery, I knew I'd made the biggest mistake of my life." Yeah, yeah. I mean, excuse me. This guy is. I know very little about the case at the moment. I think we all know very little. He's actually suing the NHS. Um, it's a sort of first case ever. Do you know what I mean? I don't. It certainly won't be the last, but it's going to be a first case, and I think we're going to be hearing quite a lot more about it. I don't know whether there's going to be a crowdfunder put up. I don't know. I know very little about it, but I am very upset to hear his story. And bearing in mind, detransitioners are everywhere now. There's quite a few of them around, and they're all saying the same thing, that they were pushed into this crappy gender ideology, went straight in for surgery, and now they realize that that they have made probably the biggest mistake of their life, and we've got more and more detransitioners waking up. So that's a very sad story on my GETTR account. So again, if you want to join me on GETTR, I'm Alex Bloodfire. Bring the conversation over to GETTR. I'm actually getting quite a few followers on GETTR now. I think I've got nearly 3,000 followers on GETTR, which is pretty good. It's not as much as I had on Twitter, but I think as more and more people are realizing, look, we don't want our voices silenced. We want freedom of speech. As more people are realizing that, they are jumping over to other platforms, and Twitter, I think, will and hopefully go by the wayside with everything that they're actually doing. So yeah. So something I picked up today as well, a Andrea Furret, okay, is a biologically born male who's now wanting to be called a trans woman, as it was. This person is one of the contestants now competing for the title of Miss France 2023. Now, if basically we're allowing biologically born males in Miss France, I'm not going to be interested in watching it. So I'm not interested. I've got no interest in watching Miss France if the misses there are not really what they traditionally have been. So I won't be watching it. I think it's absolutely appalling. And I'm predicting, in fact, I really ought to have a bet on actually, but I think to have a bet on, I think it would insult women. I'm predicting that Andrea Furret will win Miss France. Not because she's the best, or they are. I didn't say she, then I said they. Not because they're the best attractive woman or looking woman in the world, but because they're trans. Okay, but I'm not going to have a bet on it. But I ought to, because I'm pretty confident that Andrea Foote would win. So all those women who've, powdered the faces, been to the gym and done whatever, I'm predicting they're going to lose to Andrea Foote, a biologically born male, at Miss France in 2023. But please let me know in the comments what you think. Do you think that Andrea Foote's going to win? Do you not think Andrea Foote's not going to win, or do you think she is going to win? Let's see. It's real shame, really, that's happened, and I'm quite disappointed, really. But I won't be watching Miss France. I'm not interested, if that's what France is going to do. Now we'll move on to the area of Nottingham in the United Kingdom. Nottingham City Council has cancelled a library talk over an author's view on transgender rights. It's really women's rights and children's rights, but they're saying it's transgender rights, their view on transgender rights. And the actual person's name is, of course, Julie Bindel. I stand with Julie Bindel. I think many of us do. I think really what I will say is that Nottingham City Council urgently need to drop controversial Stonewall before they make an even bigger fool of themselves. They're really stupid. And I've been reading through the comments of a newspaper, and it looks as though the support is for Julie Bindel and not really for Nottingham City Council on that library incident. So it's a real shame the way that United Kingdom is as drop down, if you like, to gender ideology. But this is where we are, and this is why I always say, please speak out. If you don't speak out about gender ideology, okay, you don't speak about gender ideology, then we are going to live with it. It's going to be with us for all our lives, and we're going to be living a lie, and we're all going to be forced to live a lie, which is what they're trying to get in. So please do speak out about gender ideology, or there'll be more councils cancelling authors. I think we've had quite a lot of authors cancelled already, but there'll be even more if you don't speak out, and then it's just absolutely ridiculous, And Julie Bindel is not transphobic, and I stand by Julie Bindel all the way. Now we've got another one, and this time this is about civil servants. So we've got, would you believe that the civil servants are being told to let self-identifying trans staff use whichever single-sex toilet they want under official guidance? I mean, this basically means that me as a guy can say, hey, now, I'm a woman now, and I want to use the women's toilets, and under official guidance, they're saying, yeah, that's it. It's very worrying. Women don't want this. Yeah, I, as a man, don't want women to have to put up with this. So again, we really need to speak out with gender ideology, because if we don't speak out now, as I keep saying, this will continue. This will be with us for the rest of our lives, and women will lose all their spaces unless they allow biologically born males in them. Well, they'll just lose the spaces. They'll have to let biologically born men in them. So I'm just going to give you a reminder. There is a competition today. It's the end day, finishes at midnight. If you want to grab a copy of my book, Brock Steele Sphere, all you need to do is email your name and address to the email in below this in the instructions, in the what do you call it? Description, in the description below. Just there is an email there to my website. Just email your name and address, and I'll put it in a hat at midnight, and then you may or may not win a copy of Alex Bloodfire. I will deliver it anywhere in the world, so it doesn't matter where in the world you are. So please do email. Okay, so we're going to move on now. It's all kicking off now with the sports. As I say, it's been a very, very good week for women's rights, and by that I mean adult human female rights, not biologically born men who who are claiming to be trans women. It's been a very good week for adult human females, the traditional women, basically women. And we've got the swimming ban is increasing pressure on sports to clarify trans policy. I don't know what that's supposed to. That was in the Financial Times. I read that in the Financial Times today. But it's on the GETTR. If you want to click on that, you can click on it. It really just describes really that there needs to be more clarification on the trans policies in sports, but more and more sports are now looking to ban trans identifying males out of female sports. Brilliant. That's great. I'm going to do a little bit more on the this man who is suing the NHS is starting to get a bit of traction in the press. And I've got another entry on this guy. There is a medical negligence lawsuit. It is the first one, and brilliant, absolutely fantastic that he's taking them to court, but it's harrowing what has happened to him, and it should really make the medical profession feel sick, to be quite honest, that this is what you are doing to people. But I'm glad he's suing, and I'm really glad about that. And then there's Sharon Davis has said that she's an Olympic swimmer. Um, and she wants trans women banned from all female sports. Yeah, I mean, that makes sense. You know, all female sports, you know, should ban trans women, which are biologically born males. They don't belong in female sports. It's as simple as that. So I'm just going to go over to a comment now from Amy, which is hopefully more will take NHS to court. I think this is going to open the floodgates. I mean, there are so many detransitioners around now who have realized that it is really the biggest mistake they've made in their life, and the NHS shouldn't have treated them like this. I hope that the more is going to take you know, the NHS to court over their trans medicine, which is disgraceful, really. But I think they will. I think they will. I think there's going to be a flood of lawsuits, and this will be the first one, which is pretty good. So we've got another female athlete, and she said, and I quote, "I lost a lot of confidence," says a female athlete forced to compete with biologically born males. It's just really not fair what these biologically born males are actually doing to women's sports, and I look forward to seeing more um, uh, people taken out of sports. You know, trans people taken out of sports, because female sports, because it's not fair. It's outrageous. They've been given a platform to cheat, and it's outrageous. So we've got a little bit from Graham Lynham, who says, "Drag Story Hour, who is it for? Next episode you will be 007." Oh, I'm just reading Amy's now, just before I go into that. It says next I'll be 007. Yeah, I didn't even realize that, but yeah, 007 will be on the 29th of June. So it's going to be on Wednesday, the 29th of June at 7 p.m. and I'll be 007. Whoa, yeah. I didn't see that. That's yep. But there we are. Yes, thank you for pointing that out. Yeah, I'll see if I can do some sort of MI6 something for the episode 007. I probably won't. I probably you know, won't think of anything. But I haven't got the MI5 building, so I'll see if I can get hold of that or something. I don't know, but yeah, okay, right. So we'll, as I say, Graham Linehan posted something. Drag Queen Story Hour. Okay, who is it for? And I've definitely said it's definitely not for kids. You know, we've got a drag queen now charged with 25 counts of felony child sexual abuse material possession. I mean, this, you know, I was reading something from a drag actor who was actually kicking off. She was kicking off saying, you know, this is all ruining our. It's going to ruin the living. Do you know what I mean? It's ruining their reputation. It's ruining everything, because drag queens clearly do not belong, you know, entertaining children. And I don't know why anyone thinks they do, but they really don't belong entertaining children. I have worked in the entertainment industry, and I booked drag acts, and I can definitely confirm that it's adults only. You don't book drags for children, and if you do, it's perverated. You know, it really is perverated, especially when you're doing strip teasers, especially when you're coming out with adult material. It's appalling. And no, you book drag acts. I don't want nobody should want drags anywhere near their children entertaining like that. You just don't. It's absolutely appalling. It's absolutely wrong. So that's that. So there's another mention on my GETTR account, and I will mention it because I think it really does need mentioning. It's a Brazilian feminist faces up to 25 years in prison after calling trans politician a man. So that's basically calling a biologically born male a man, and she's now facing up to 25 years in prison. It really is absolutely appalling the way that women are being treated like this. And it's like I say, and I'm going to say it again, please, please, please speak out. Support the people who are speaking out. Don't let trans ideology plague our society any longer. We need to do something about trans ideology, or we'll live with it for the rest of our lives, and we will live lies. I mean, to face 25 years in prison, yeah, let me say that again. To face up to 25 years in a prison for saying that a biologically born male is a man, and that's your crime. No, I mean, this is just not acceptable. Please speak out. If you don't speak out now, we'll be living with it for the rest of our lives, and that, God help us. And I really mean that. May the Lord help us if that is the case. And then I mentioned that the first UK on my GETTR account again, the first UK medical negligence case over NHS transgender care is going to happen soon. I don't know much about the case. I'll be talking about that in future episodes. So please join me. Let's find out what's going on. Twitter has deleted his account of how he was castrated during gender reassignment surgery. It's and obviously J.K. Rowling's jumped in, and she's shared his ordeal after tweets describing the case were deleted, which is what I've just said. I mean, I can't believe Twitter are doing this. I mean, Twitter are really, they are really, silencing people. They really are doing this. I mean, I can't believe that a platform which, Twitter in its day was a great platform. I can remember being on Twitter years ago. As a human rights activist, I never had any issues with Twitter. There were none of this algorithms. I don't think there wasn't any algorithms. It weren't as big as it is now, but there was still a lot of people on it. It still was the public square. I mean, it became the public square, and it was the public square then. I mean, I can't believe that Twitter are behaving like this, but they've gone and deleted his account of how he was castrated during gender reassignment surgery. He's suing. I hope he wins. I don't know the ins and outs of the case, but I hope he wins, because really harrowing what's happened. But for Twitter to do this is disgusting. So look, Twitter at the moment are bragging, they're the public square, but they've banned a lot of people, they've kicked a lot of people off, they've locked a lot of accounts, they've silenced people by, putting their algorithms in place. Let's get on to GETTR. Let the people say, we're not going to accept this from Twitter. We want freedom of speech. Freedom of speech doesn't give you a right to slander people, but freedom of speech gives you a right to talk about what's happening. When you've got a guy here who's had some horrific stuff happen to him from the NHS, he's now taking a medical negligence. You don't expect Twitter to delete that. So it's let's get on GETTR. Let's create GETTR. The freedom of speech platform, GETTR, the fastest growing social network ever. Let's get that the platform of the future. And then I was reading, and probably many people know about this. I'm just going to get his details up. So Colin Wright has been thrown off Etsy and PayPal for expressing his belief in biological reality, which I mean, again, I don't know the ins and outs of this. I mean, this is something that is brought up. I mean, this is appalling that we're losing financial services, and we're losing platforms to sell stuff solely because we believe in biology. I believe in biology. I don't believe in this gender nonsense. I don't believe in this gender ridiculousness. And I'm very shocked that I'm very, very shocked that this is happening, and it will get worse if we don't speak out, if we don't stand our ground and say, what, if we don't believe in, if we don't talk, if we don't get rid of the gender nonsense, okay, what is going to happen is simply that we're going to live it. This is going to get worse. It won't get better. It will get worse. And that's it. So that's appalling. So the BBC as well is so the next one down, should I say, the BBC gets new orders, back trans rights and ignore women. This is the, you know, I've said this, let's defund the BBC. Let's get rid of the BBC license. Okay, they're not working for the British public anymore. They certainly don't seem to be working for women. I see very, very little articles from the BBC on, if at all, on gender ideology. Okay, fighting gender ideology, saying anything about gender ideology. I see nothing. Yeah, that's not what we pay our BBC license for. We want news and gender ideology. The trans debate, the trans wars is very much in the spotlight at the moment. Why are the BBC not covering it? You know, they're ignoring it. You know, so as far as I'm concerned, let's defund the BBC. I know that we're going to stop the license in 5 years' time, but what we should do is do it as a streaming service. If you want to watch crappy EastEnders, you want to watch the crappy BBC News that are telling me nothing that I don't already know, you know, then you can do that. You pay for that. You pay on a stream, okay? But you know, don't charge everybody, and especially old age pensioners, for nonsense. You know, and that's it. I think the BBC is nonsense if it's not going to give us, you know, the news that we want to hear. You know, I mean, I'm sure that there is some news out there that is giving us that we want to be. It's certainly not telling us about gender ideology. So, you know, that's a suggestion for the government that, you know, let's do a streaming service instead of, you know, whatever plans they've got. Because you know, I think it's better streaming, you know, personally. And that way, if you want to listen to the BBC, there you go. You know, you pay. If you don't, you don't pay. Like every other channel, you know, that's it. Again, there was another article. There's been quite a lot of articles across you know, various platforms with regard to the anguish of this young man who had sex organs removed on the NHS, then regretted it the same day. And he's suing. I just thought I'd mention that again. I mean, again, if you do want to follow me on GETTR, you know, I'm Alex Bloodfire. Let's bring the conversation over to GETTR. Let's chat. You know, I mean, I've been deplatformed from Twitter. 6 months in. It will be 6 months in a couple of days that Twitter just stopped my account. 6 months. You know, I mean, this is disgraceful for a company to behave like this. I mean, they could have said after a day or 2 days, you know, this is the result of the suspension, but they're just keeping me off the platform, like many people on GETTR who have been deplatformed from Twitter. So, you know, that's it. The next article. In fact, before I do this, I'll just give you another reminder. Brock Steele Sphere, I'm doing a competition. Okay, I'm going to give 5 books out to 5 lucky winners. Okay, all you need to do is email me on the email in the description. Just email me name and address, and I will, at midnight tonight, put all the names into a hat and pull 5 out, and then I'll send it wherever you live in the world. I will send it to you. Okay. And yeah, that's it. That's a competition. So if you want a spy sort of adventure book, there's 5 to give. I've got 5 to give away. I don't use your data for any other reasons. So as soon as you've sent it me, I don't use data for any other reasons. So you won't be getting anything else from me. I don't sell data, so you don't need to worry about that. All I'll do is use it for this particular purpose, and I will be deleting that email as well after this competition. So it won't be an email that's you'll be able to use after that as well. Oh no, I've come out of my GETTR account now. Right, so the next one, which I found, I've heard things about this before. So it's saying the billionaire family pushing the synthetic sex identities. So the wealthy, powerful, and sometimes very weird Prizek cousins have set their sights on a new godlike goal using gender ideology to remake human biology. That was an article written. So I've just linked it. It's an article written by Jennifer Billock. Quite an interesting one. Have a read of it. You know, it's you know, as I say, quite interesting. Have a read. And I think another one we've got as well, because there was quite a lot this week in gender ideology. There normally is every week, actually, but I picked another one up that women are apparently cancelling their subscriptions and fleeing the biggest trade union over trans ideology. The actual trade union is Unison. It's the biggest in the United Kingdom, and apparently women are fleeing this trade union over a trans rights row and name badges with pronouns. I mean, you know, this union's been banging on about trans rights this and trans right this for trans right that, should I say, for quite a while. So what I'm saying is, you know, if you're a woman out there, isn't it time you drop your membership? And if you're a guy, you know what I mean? Do you really agree with all this gender ideology? If you don't, drop your membership. You know, it's simple. So, you know, yeah, if you don't agree with it, drop your membership to Unison. You know, and that's it really. It's not very you know, that's it. I mean, I'm not a member of Unison, by the way, and I don't intend to become one. So that's me. I'm not going to become a member of Unison while we're getting all this rubbish of trans. I mean, you know, it's not. There's one thing, you know, to support people and groups, and there's another to push an agenda which destroys everybody else's rights, and that's what's happening with the trans agenda. So right, and then I pulled one out of the Washington Examiner. They said apparently Mr. Bean's star, that's Rowan Atkinson, said every joke has a victim as he's slamming cancel culture. I thought I'd put that in my GETTR, and I thought I'd give it a mention because that's what is happening. Every time anyone makes a joke, so there's a victim somewhere who's saying, "Oh, you can't say that." You know, this is what freedom of speech is about, really, that you should be able to say, you should be able to joke at what you want, provided you're not slandering people off. But you know, I mean, it's really you know, horrible when we're having our freedom of speech destroyed. We need to fight for freedom of speech, and I think that's what I'm going to be talking more and more about in future episodes of on the Alex Bloodfire stream, about freedom of speech. You know, freedom of speech isn't just about, it's not just about taking it away from trans rights, saying you're not allowed to say this about trans people, you're not allowed to say that a biologically born man, a biologically born male is a man. It's not just about that. It's about, you know, you lose credit. We're losing credit card facilities. We're losing platforms. We're losing jobs. You know, this will get worse unless we stand up for freedom of speech. And Twitter is trying to destroy freedom of speech. It's deplatform me. Please feel sorry for me and join GETTR. You know, Alex Bloodfire. Follow me on GETTR, please. Right. So next one. Quite an interesting one about the assault on children's psyches. The California's ethics studies curriculum is fueling a mental health crisis among teenagers because it's you know, making children believe things that that isn't necessarily true, such as, you know, trans ideology, critical race theory, and various things on that. Now, that was what I was saying on my GETTR. So please, you know, join me on GETTR, join me on other platforms. Don't let Twitter rule our freedom of speech, or don't let Twitter destroy our freedom of speech. Get on other platforms. You can stay on Twitter, yeah, it's not a problem, but get on other platforms, because people like me can't. I can't see what you're saying. So whatever so from my government, from celebrities, to whatever you know, you people are saying on Twitter, I cannot see it because I cannot get access to it. I'm locked out of my account, and it works slightly different to a suspension. In a locked account is very limited access, you know. So I am basically locked out of my account, and I can't see what people are saying. So please get on other platforms so that I can see what you're saying. You know, Twitter is about the only platform that I've been deplatformed on. I have been deplatformed on a instance on Mastodon, but I don't think anyone's ever heard of that, to be quite honest. The Mastodon, I think it's something like msdi.io or something. It's I forget now. I mean, it's I've had my account suspended on there as well, but I mean, that's by the by, you know, nobody's ever heard of that anyway, so I don't think many people are bothered. But if you do want to get on a good platform, GETTR is the way. So GETTR is better. I'm just going to read this from Amy now. It says, hello, hello, TV series from the 80s poke fun at all nations. There's an offensive term used in the series a number of times, used about Italians mostly. I wouldn't want it cut out. It's a comedy. And that's right. Yeah, absolutely. And I totally agree with you, Amy, that, you know, this comedy in my era, because I used to watch Hello Hello, I used to like Hello Hello comedy. They could say what they wanted. I mean, now you watch TV and it's just not funny. It's just, you know, it's really not funny anymore. Do you know what I mean? And they're trying to not offend anybody, and by doing it, they just can't make jokes. You know, it is a bit ridiculous. It's very absolutely ridiculous, you know, to say that jokes are offensive, and it's ruining it. It's ruining it. So I'm just going to give everyone another reminder about my book. Okay, so Brock Steele Sphere is, if I can, let me just there. So there's still another opportunity to grab a free copy of my book, Brock Steele Sphere. Just simply email your name and address on the email that's typed in below in the description. And tonight at midnight, I will, the competition closes, and I will be drawing 5 names out of a hat, and draw out 5 winners. I will send anywhere in the world. So if you live in Australia or America or Africa or Asia, wherever you live, I will send it to addresses anywhere in the world. I don't use data for any other purpose in the competition. After the competition, will solely be deleted. So don't worry about that if you was. And that's it. You know, so if you want to enter, just give us an email, and there we are. So the competition, I'm going to do it tonight at midnight, and I will be removing that email as well, so nobody else can nick it and start emailing me, and it will be deleted eventually. So there we go. Right, so let me just see. I'm going to cough. So if there's anything on the show that you want me to talk about, especially gender ideology, you know, put it in the comments, you know, and I can, if there's anything that I've missed out on my GETTR, on other accounts, please let me know. Let me know what if I've missed anything, if there's any. I am getting a lot of people that are DMing me on various sites about all these developments and everything. So please feel free to DM me, contact me on GETTR, and let me know of all the new developments. I want to know, and I want to expose to the world everything that is happening in gender ideology. I can see that if gender ideology is allowed to manifest in our society any worse than it is already, we'll never get rid of it, and we'll be forced to live lies. Children will be forced to believe that men are women and women are men, without any evidence, you know, without any proof. Biology will become a thing of the past, you know, and anybody that speaks out is you know, about gender ideology could face imprisonment, you know, face court cases, be arrested. And that's happening now. I mean, this is happening now. So imagine it will get worse. So please, you know, speak out, and speak out to the, you know, support the people that are speaking out. There's quite a few of us now speaking out. Please support us. Please stand by us. And don't let us be ripped to pieces. I mean, I regularly get abuse. I get death threats. I get a lot of things just for speaking out, you know, about horrible gender ideology, which I can't believe has actually taken over the world as it has, you know. So let's do that. So another comment here from Amy in hello, hello. The character Lieutenant Hubert Gruber with his little tank, it's strongly implied his character is gay. Indeed, I know the one, and it's strongly implied. Yeah. I mean, it is, you know, and yeah, brilliant. There's a brilliant program though, hello, hello. I used to watch it quite a lot with a lot. My favorite program of all time, going off the subject of comedy, was Blake Seven, and I'm watching that at the moment. That's on Forces TV. But a lot of these old comedies as well, I really love them because they were able to they were able to make proper comedy. They were able to you know, be good, be brilliant, you know, and yeah. I mean, just trying to think of other comedies that I used to watch. There were the two Ronnies. The two Ronnies were very funny. You know, they said a lot of things which I don't think you can get not necessarily. I mean, you can get away with it now, but you know, people can will jump on it, and a lot of the comedians at that time were very funny as well. I mean, they did insult gay people. They were this. They did insult this. They did insult that, and you know, it's just you know, it was funny. And you know that's what comedy's about. You know you can't stop comedians making jokes. It's not right. So you can do an impression of Captain Alberto Bettorelli. Bettorelli, is it? Bettorelli. That's it. Captain Albert Bettorelli. I think I've pronounced that right. Can you indeed? Yeah, that's good. I I liked yeah, I did like LOLO. So yeah, it's very good program, to be honest. Yeah. I mean really good series. Yeah. Okay, so I'm gonna go through the GETTR. I mean, let's have a look. Mm, doo. Yep. So GETTR. I'll talk about GETTR. They've got. If I let me just bring this up because GETTR. Oh, if I can find GETTR. They're going to be celebrating their 1 year anniversary. I know I talk about GETTR a lot, but I mean GETTR's my favorite platform now. I found a home on GETTR. I like it. It's freedom of speech. I can say what I want. I'm not worried about being banned, like other sites like Twitter. And even instances on Mastodon now, which I don't think many of us have heard of. And I think if Mastodon is going to go down that way of you know, restricting freedom of speech, I think the platform will probably collapse as well because people are getting off Facebook and Twitter for freedom of speech. They don't want other platforms to say you're not allowed to say that. But in the first birthday, they're going to tell us about a lot of developments. So I think GETTR's going to establish, and there's a lot of things happening with GETTR, which is really exciting. So yeah, you know, if you're out there and you want a platform to join GETTR. If you just want to be on a different platform, join GETTR. But don't let Twitter take our freedom of speech because that's what they're doing at the moment. We can't speak. I'm being silenced. I've been deplatformed. You know, I've been silenced because I believe that gender ideology is wrong because I'm speaking out about women's rights, children's rights, LGBT rights, you know, heterosexual men's rights. I'm basically speaking out about everyone's rights. Because of this, they deplatform me. They don't like it. If your rights don't include biologically born men who identify as trans, okay, then you know you've got a problem. You know, you have a problem. So don't let the platforms do this. You know. Don't let platforms do this. Right. So, without much ado, I think, yeah. So, Get Alive on the 4th of July are going to be discussing a fight against censorship and cancel culture. And they are, as I said, announcing some exciting new features that they'll be unveiling later in 2022. So GETTR is definitely a platform to be on. It's you know for the future. So and I hope that you know Twitter take the consequences and that's it really. Go downhill. Okay, so I'll just give one last reminder about Brock Steele. So just gonna read Brock Steele and read what it says. So Brock Steele knows his name and very little else. After a vicious attack in mysterious circumstances, Brock's memory has abandoned him. He has no idea why he's been hounded by a mysterious man with a gun or why bad things keep happening to the people he loves and why a strange voice is talking to him from the walls of his flat. When he's forced to go on the run to save his life. He has to decide who to trust, and making a mistake could be fatal. Can Brock find out who he is, why he's been haunted, and stay alive in the bargain? I've got 5 of these up for grabs. It's the last day for the competition. So if you want to enter the competition, all you need to do is simply email your name and address on the email in the description below by midnight tonight. And after midnight, I'll put everyone's name in a hat and draw out 5 winners. I will email all over the world, so it doesn't matter where you live. I will, I'll email. I will send. All you need to do is email your name and address, and I will send a paperback copy to you if you win the competition. There's not a lot of people entered, so you might have a good chance of winning. So I would give it a go. And that's the book. So yep. So I'm gonna put all the entries in a hat. So gender ideology, please do speak out about it. I'm hearing some very, very sad stories. There's reasons why politicians are speaking out about it. There are reasons why celebrities are speaking out about what's happening with gender ideology. There's reasons why me speaking out. There's reasons. I mean, you look in the paper about what this trans ideology is doing. It's everywhere. It's every day. I'm picking articles up from a vast amount of papers. A lot of mainstream papers in the UK cover stories on gender ideology. Sadly, the BBC don't, but hopefully, when we take the BBC license off, and maybe they might book their ideas up. Trans wars is massive in the United Kingdom. It's massive all over the world. I mean, there's a massive trans war happening, and the BBC are not covering it, but a lot of the press are. I'm seeing a lot of stories, even in American press, Australian press. A lot of people, sports personalities, are fighting it. We really need to change what we're actually doing with gender ideology, because it really is plaguing our society. And if we don't do anything about it, okay, as I say, it will get worse. Please speak out. Please support the people who are speaking out about this horrible gender ideology that is ruining children's lives. It's ruining women's lives. It's ruining LGBT people's lives, and it's even ruining heterosexual men's lives as well. I mean, if you're supposed to include a trans woman, that's a biologically born man, in your dating pool. I mean, it's so offensive. It's really wrong. So we're all speaking out about it. Everyone's speaking out. So, more and more people, should I say, are speaking out about it. It's not enough. We need more. If you're out there thinking, well, I don't want to say anything, I'm too scared of what's happening, then support the people that are speaking out. You can get on GETTR, okay, anonymous. I mean, loads of trans activists are anonymous. I mean, look what happened in Bristol with all the, people hiding their faces with masks and everything. I mean, I think that's cowardism, what these people did. But, if you can't speak out because you fear of being attacked, you don't have to give your real name on GETTR. You don't have to put your photo up. But, and it's the same on Twitter and same on any other platform. There's many, many platforms. I'm on about 200 different social media platforms. You can be on any of those. Do you know what I mean? And all you need to do is speak out, and just help us stop indoctrination in schools, help us get these trans women, in brackets, out of female sports, and stop this horrific gangs that are going around giving people like me death threats, threatening us, threatening our jobs, threatening our livelihoods. Please help, because if this trans ideology, gender ideology carries on in society as it is, we are basically going to be in trouble, and we are in trouble. That's the problem, but it will get worse. So I have now run out of things to say. Please join me on Wednesday, the 29th of June at 7 p.m. Turf Island time, where we'll be discussing more of the same. I will have quite a lot to talk about. I probably will have an action plan of what we should do, in order to fight gender ideology. But please join me. There'll be lots more in the press. We may have other sports that have dropped biologically born males who claim that they're trans. There may be more court cases. There may be a lot of other things happening. So I will be here. I will be discussing them. I will be telling you what's happening. So please join me. Please like and subscribe my channel as I can grow it and I can get more, get more things out. I can, bring more details of what gender ideology is inflicting on our society, and I can get on here more. I mean, I'd like to get on here every night, you know what I mean, to basically expose all the things that are happening. So thank you, Amy, for joining me again. I really do appreciate you being on the stream. It really does help me. And yep, take care, and hopefully I will see you on Wednesday. So thanks for joining. Really appreciated. Bye everyone.